How you doing, lovelies? I'm just setting my camera up. Let me see how I got it here. I think we're good. I think we're in business. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm going to do this short little piece to put on my DianaDash 2.0. If you haven't checked me out on Alpha 7, I uploaded yesterday. I made good on my promise, and I'm going to continue to, even though I'm so busy working and doing my own business too. I have several different ventures that I do, and there's a lot of people on here that are like, oh, you shouldn't, work at all. You should just work for yourself. Well, of course, that's the optimal thing to do. But at the same time, you want to use your energy where it's appreciated. So if you have, a spot, life is not meant to be just, living the glamorous life. I was raised listening to Fergie write that song, and that's what everyone's trying to do. But it's really, there's a value too in being a Proverbs 31 woman, someone working with their hands, staying out there, staying out the way. Because ladies, let's face it, sometimes a lot of ladies can get bored easily. That can lead to different avenues. That could be shopping, that could be, on a deeper scale, that could even go down the road of, substance abuse. There's different things that it's just good to be busy, and sometimes, it keeps you out of trouble. When a woman has too much time on her hands, she can listen to different podcasts. And guys, I mean, I really got to be that dash. Do I got to get my activated charcoal? What is going on? Crazy, crazy. I guess it takes someone a little bit older, wiser, right? That actually could see women like that. Like some women, growing up, the mean girls. I wasn't a mean girl growing up. I had a sweetheart. And some of us empaths, we can be around really mean situations where we have to grow, needles like a porcupine to defend ourselves. I know a lot of us have been there. And, you have to develop a thick skin even on YouTube. I mean, even YouTube themselves, is a bunch of mean girls or mean guys together in drag. They know I can see through a lot of even, some of the company heads and, the agendas they push. So, they're always giving me a hard time as well, which, that's why I like to teach people you have to, you have to make it where they don't see you coming. I love, doing things in private. I did a vid, silence is golden in due season. It's so true. Sometimes you just got to let people fall on their own face because they don't want to learn. A lot of people don't want to grow. They think, oh, just because you've seen it or just because certain things happen to you doesn't mean surely it doesn't mean it's going to happen to me. I'm better. I'm prettier. I'm more. I mean, these people, I mean, everyone is so in their ego. And a lot of these, sad little pups, let's just say, are just so, they're just naive to the game, right? A lot of people on here are trying to set themselves up because they know that their sermons, let's just say, it could be satanic sermons too, are poison, and they want to be ready for the backlash, or they want to set up for their retirement. And just because you see certain people, guys, do things, I'm gonna like organize myself while I'm talking. I like to multitask. I'm always trying to do something here. Just because you see it something working for somebody online, guys, doesn't mean it's gonna work for you the same way. And you reap what you sow. I like using that verse, and I do like using the Bible as my guide, right? That's the only spiritual guide I need, right? But check out, if just to give you a little direction, Proverbs chapter 10 verse 2. Ill-gotten gains do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. Yeah, having wisdom as your mother, as your friend, right? I always seek wisdom because that's supposed to be better than a lot of what people are teaching, because that could really keep you out of trouble. Now, I'm all about being an entrepreneur, doing things. We're going to do different videos. I'm troubleshooting different things that are good. And, making your own products is great, but not a lot of people find immediate results in that. You could, put together periodicals. Not a lot of people are really into buying books as they should, right? That, and a lot of it is just their perspective, which you already know when you're dealing with them on these forums. And a lot of them are dealing with the dark arts too. I'm all into holistic remedies, but that's become such a watered down term that you have in, like, different witches, who are not even hiding in the shadows anymore. They've all been out there, and you see in different things. And I'm really I love breaking down different shows, movies. There's a new movie out, if you guys want to check out. It's called Clock on Hulu. It's a movie, and it talks about some type of breeding program. Then you got half fish. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Not all angels are good angels. You heard the term earth angel. You got a lot of people walking around calling themselves whatever, but they're literal devils that do not want to repent. Don't Maybe they feel like they're so far gone. Maybe they don't want to try to teach people better. They don't care because they're still riding the gravy train, but you don't know where their gravy train's going. It could be smashing into a wall. I know women who were bona fide so-called gold diggers when they were young. I know one personally. She thought she knew, whatever. The guy was taken. She had a long relationship, many children involved. Sometimes the shit don't happen until 20 years later. And a lot of these gurus on here are like, just do this, just do that, just live a life, the fabulous life, the Fergie life, right? Just get someone to do everything for you. It's like, you're just, if anything, there are many men who are learning from that. And in this Greek society, you're really just empowering your competitor too. And in the story with this woman, like, she married into a family. She was a blonde. So years ago, that was like a big deal. I don't know if it is now or whatever. Everyone has their preferences and stuff, right? It happened to a family member, right? And she married a family member. And so she was really, really into herself. And I can just imagine if she started a YouTube channel, she'd probably have a huge following herself, right? Because she was living that life of, like, not working, and but he would be traveling a lot for his job. A lot of women don't mind that, but of course there are circumstances that come with it. So you got to ask yourself, do you want a simple life or a complicated life? Because with the complicated life, there is a price tag, right? It can cause you your sanity, your dignity, your whatever, your respect. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You may be a better dressed fool, but you're still a fool at the end of the day if you are allowing people to just play with you like that, because your life can be out there. I've been, learning a lot too. We all heard of the AIDS epidemic. The show American Horror goes into it in season 11. A lot of people, it kind of shows that, like, in NYC, they kind of have a vibe, the big apple, like, almost like the forbidden fruit, like, Sodom and Gomorrah, just like their lifestyle goes into Fire Island, how the virus spread, talks about Plum Island. So crazy. And a lot of these people, instead of, like, changing their behavior, right? Changing their realizing that what they're doing and what they're promoting is you can't praise the most high that we have natural law, because people don't want to listen when you try to give it to them, right? But when you hit natural law or whatever, and these people too, they they speak of karma or whatever, but they don't practice any of that what they preach, right? And they're going to learn the hard way too, because we have to be responsible for what we share on these forums. Because in the instance that I was sharing, this woman, the shit really hit the fan. Her kids were older, right? And what happened, she had someone half her age, if not younger, do the same thing she did 20 something years before to another woman. So when you're teaching women to break girl code, like we have no girl code, we have no moral code, and that's not good because how you start is how you finish. Ill-gotten gains, I'm telling you, those are the ones that, it's gonna, slip out of your hands the quickest, right? You're gonna lose it the fastest, but who am I? I learned the hard way to stay away from, certain personalities. There are a lot of characters out there, and right now a lot of people are in the closet. So it's like, well, all these women saying, hey, this and that, you don't want to get too in your ego too, because I guess a lot of them don't care about their hygiene, because if you don't think that it's dangerous to be like, yeah, he can do him as long as he brings the bag, you could be putting yourself in harm's way. Because in that show, there was a woman, I believe she got sick because her ex-husband was into that lifestyle, and then like the AIDS, and it was showing that it was just targeting a certain group. So, and even now in today's, of course, getting spam, sorry. It never ends when I'm trying to do a vid. Never ends, guys. I'm not gonna make this too long. I don't know how long it's gonna let me record. But people need to keep themselves, there's so many stigmas on here, so many lies. If you watch enough of this shit, you could really go batshit crazy and end up being really, really stupid. You really gotta be careful. I mean, there's idiots on here talk about, oh, women, they don't use washcloths. If you go into their bathroom and you don't see things like draped, some people need things to be like right in front of them. They don't look at the deeper stuff. Some people put them in closets and linen closets in other areas, and they just grab them when they go into the bathroom and stuff. They don't leave every little thing in the bathroom. And I've seen people from all types having like, hygiene of questionable whatever. I can understand this generation now too, right? Like they've become like kind of like, everybody wants to be so pampered, but they don't have like real hygiene. They'll like, be in open relationships. They'll be out there just, giving themselves away. I mean, there's women on here talking about having 100+ body counts. I'm like, I freaking can't with people on here, okay? Please be careful, guys. I'm just dashing a lot of these freaking trolls on here, right? They really need to like keep it, settled down, because their day is coming and they can get their following, they can get their attention because they think they're all that. Some of them reminds me of mammies that I've dealt with in person, and I'm like, yeah, they're the biggest fools, and they probably got UTIs and everything else, but they won't talk about that. They won't share those little tidbits, right, with you. And I'm not here to, name drop or whatever. You guys do what you will, right? Because let me tell you, I known someone in real life who was like, a certain way and just didn't care, would step on women's toes, date married men, be whatever. And there's men that do that too. I'm not saying that men are not doing that, but now we have like a real movement, just pushing, doesn't matter, whatever. Just be careful too, because if you're not teaching young women to have real skills, that's going to impact people in their life. Their own children are not going to be loyal to them either. Okay. And women, when you're dating guys too, if you're dealing with a man and he's like overindulging his daughter, calling her princess, 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 even though she's a little devil, right? Even though it's like almost like they treat them like a girlfriend, and then the guy is just like, he calls himself high value. be careful with that because that's like a two-headed monster. And so it's a lot of the men that are calling themselves that, creating these type of like pampered princesses. Okay to feel regal, ladies. Being a noble one too, being noble, being righteous, that is very regal, right? being you know, being a backstabbing, mean girl. No, that equates being a sea hag, right? And in a lot of these stories, you have a lot of different energies, right? Mermaid energies or whatever. A lot of people are embracing that. They're setting themselves up because they know their current situations are probably not going to pan out long term. Just because it pans out 10, 20 years, and a lot of them are not loyal to, and they're just putting themselves out there, showing to other people like their playbook and to watch out for. And just be careful because you're going to have the younger ones too, all about that. And the younger ones are the ones that are going to cut throat the ones that are even teaching this stuff too, right? Because they're desensitized and they're like, well, I'm a younger, better version. I can do this and that, right? Thanks for the tip, grandma. And like, you know what I mean? So it's like, where is the like moral obligation period to even not be a shithead? So it's like these same women, it's funny, they call all the women so-called pick Mishas. No, I'm not saying be a freaking doormat because a lot of people get it twisted too. When you call yourself an empath, I think that means doormat. Like, bish, please don't even go there. But like, yeah, like dealing with these type of situations that are not healthy. You need to really be careful because it can really get thrown in your face. You can damage lives. You can damage your own life too, your reputation. Don't think so. Okay, you're influencing generations and stuff. But these women are the biggest pick because they're doing anything to be picked. They're ignoring moral law, natural law, God's law, like do not commit adultery and all that. I don't take it to the extreme where, okay, you got to be single your whole life. I know in certain sects they're like that. That happened with my grandmother. She did not get married after my and my mother is currently single after my dad's passed away. But not to say that people can't have some companionship or whatever. That's the most high's will. But with some people, the way they're teaching it now, it's like there is nothing stopping them. So there's nothing stopping anyone from being however with them too. They should know that that is a two-way street, and they could be grooming. It could be somebody that's following them that could be the one to whatever. And if they don't think that, if it was okay for them, that that's not going to happen to them and it's not possible, and they frankly probably don't care. They're also just perpetuating that to others, but it's exposing the women who are eating that up. It's exposing guys who you really need to watch your back for. And I'm not saying get with somebody and lower your standards in any way. You can get with somebody with money and have no standards at all. Some guys could be closeted, some guys could be whatever, right? And then they're learning from that and like, okay, I'm going to use these tactics, and they're doing whatever. And a lot of these women don't even have like care in their own bodies and their own their own health. They don't care where these guys are sticking it. It could be the anal, it could be whatever. And no matter how clean you think you are, these things are not hygienic practices. Now, in this culture, because, I was having a chat with a coworker and I was like, I don't like to insult anyone. Sometimes when they're trying to share food or this or that, they get insulted to feel like, ew, no, I don't want to just share with you. She was trying to like, share something with me. I just pretended I was taking a puff and then I just gave it right back to her because, she was explaining in her relationship that, she thinks it's okay to put the mouth on the anus. She says she don't do it, but it's done to her. And I'm like, I had to remind her, but yeah, you kiss that mouth after. You don't think, and she was like, ah, ha, ha, like it was a joke, right? And I'm like, these things, these small details are everything. And she's like, oh, that's how the Greeks have sex. And in watching American Horror, they flash on a poster and it was like a Greek poster. Watch out for these colleges. I know a lot of people go to these colleges, right? And some of them pump out total douchebags. Shout out to freaking Wentworth, right, in Boston. Anybody that graduates from there, guys, watch the hell out, right? And you see the fraternities and the sororities, and a lot of them are Greek inspired, right? And what do they do in those societies? A lot of homosexuality in ancient Greece. Just go to Wikipedia, check that out. I don't want this to stop on me. We'll do this another time. I just want you guys to be so careful. Now, listen to these freaking fallen angels that you'll find in the book of Enoch. Not all angels are good angels. Not all people are who you think they are, right? You got different freaking bloodlines, allegiances, regardless of their skin tone or whatever. And you got some here that just because they have the right skin tone, just because they have the right shade, they can just say whatever they want and get away with it. It is freaking crazy. You guys need to check your freaking ancestor worship and watch out, because a lot of hoodoo, voodoo, and that's all in the Catholic Church, which I see a lot of certain people that I grew up around. And everybody got the cross on their necklaces too. And a lot of them been in these colleges, and they just have a very open way of looking at things too. And they're not being good role models. They're either all about just getting the money no matter what, thinking they can do whatever they want, thinking they can say whatever they want, and not realizing that that is affecting the younger generation, and you could just be empowering little devils instead of teaching people, like, a moral code one way or another, right? So that when your back is turned, you don't have to worry about it being stabbed in the back by the same people you were, looking out for or mentoring, whatever, or just, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? And what goes around comes around. It's so true. But a lot of, it's just not worth, empowering certain people to be this one-sided, right? Because, they're going to end up being, boo-boo the fools for real. But check out homosexuality in ancient Greece, guys. I'm going to let you guys go. But it's really interesting. There is, it's just really crazy, some of the artwork and the relationships with older men and younger men. And when they got to a certain age, they were supposed to repeat that, or they would get more effeminized, guys. And I saw like a dance. It came up on YouTube. I'll have to use my screen recorder when I have more time and break it down. The way these guys would dance and the way they would dress, and I was like, what more is there to say? That's why there's like so many problems, and that's probably why a lot of women are checking out, and they're probably like, well, I might as well just go get the bag, it doesn't matter. So you're gonna feel real empty in that too. But don't think that you're safe, because what happened to one person is not going to happen to you. People who are wise are really going to listen to others and make their own assessment, and just take that, because we're all here collectively sharing similar experiences, right, guys? So we can all learn and grow together. But there's so many stereotypes on here. I'm like, they just, if they don't see something, as is, it's like, people are so one dimensional. And if you just get all your information just listening to all of these creeps online, you're going to find yourself really down the rabbit hole even more. Do your own due diligence, guys. Live your life. Make sure that you go out there, and I understand the world is crazy, but do what you can do each and every day. I'm going to go get ready for work. I'm going to go get at it, have a positive attitude. That way, on my days off, I can just play that much harder. I can save, I can reinvest into my business, into my YouTube, start, your passion or whatever. But that takes time. And so a lot of these people are just like, yeah, do this. And how good is it? I know a lot of people can be blessed by the devil for a time, guys, but you're not gonna have longevity like that. And it's going to be plagued with a lot of problems. Oh, yeah. It's going to be plagued with a lot of problems, a lot of grief. And the woman that, thought she was getting over and it happened to her, you should see her now. She looks a hot mess. So all that money, all that whatever, get in the bag from the guy she was with, he ended up leaving her for somebody like 30 years younger than her, right? And she got back with like an ex, which I do not advise that I should do videos like that. Like, should you ever get back with an ex? Hell freaking no. Keep it pushing, keep it moving, right? If they weren't good then, they're not going to be good after a couple of bodies, guys. Like, let's get with it, right? If anything, they just go, you know. Some of them, yeah, it's crazy how some of the older ones, they'll get with the younger ones and they'll feel whatever. But you can't change a zebra's stripes. You can't change a leopard's spots. You can even move wherever. If you don't change what's on the inside, if you don't change you, and clean yourself up spiritually, you're going to be the same no matter where you go. But just be careful who you listen to on here. I know you're all grown, right? Like my new earrings, D, right? It's just a little DianaDash, little splash of my knowledge, right? My wisdom, right? And I will share some of my taco spice. Let me see here. I gotta let you guys go. Actually, I have it. Oh, guys. I know, phone. I know it's probably gonna stop working. I'm gonna put this up on my store, but I make my own taco spice, all natural herbs, guys. Right, might as well with the name like DianaDash, right? And my Kadesh skincare line, all natural, no trick bag stuff, right? God knows what these, people online are putting in their ingredients, probably their own menstrual blood, right? I would be really careful who you listen to on these YouTube streets. It's getting creepier and darker every day. And a lot of people just don't care. They're just like, oh, whatever, as long as, this person's entertaining. Well, you want to do that too. You're going to, incur whatever bad energy they already had on them. That's on you. And just know that a lot of stuff that you think is not happening, they're not going to talk about. And they have to hide a lot of what their stuff because it's not going to promote their image. But they're the biggest pick me's out here because they'll pick whoever. It doesn't matter what they're about, just to get over. So if anything, yeah, right, the pot calling the kettle black. And I'm not no pick me. I'm not no gold digger. I just teach people, like, deal with somebody on a spiritual level that's trying to get it. Obviously, right, that is on your level intellectually, spiritually, whatever, holistically. And don't be so one dimensional about it, right? And that is the key to a long-term relationship, in my opinion, in my experience. But you do what you're going to do. If you want your relationship to be blessed, right, make sure that you go into it with the right intentions. Love you guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.